Here is the church. Here is the steeple. Open the door and see all the. Uh-oh. Hello and welcome once again to another episode of The Guido Goes Off. As you can tell by this one, I'm going to throw my 2 cents in about how attendance and ratings have been dropping for WWE. As we know, the ratings for Raw and Smackdown have been on a downward trend, going dangerously close to around or even below a 2.0 rating, which would be numbers lower than the lowest numbers WWE's had in 20 years, and being about around the numbers WWE was getting during or right before the Monday Night Wars. And everybody has a theory. Everybody, we all want WWE to succeed, right? In they're the biggest, they're not the only game in town, but they are the biggest game in town. And unfortunately, how they perform is an indicator on pro wrestling's popularity as a whole, and whether or not networks want to invest money in other wrestling promotions, i.e. TNA, Ring of Honor, New Japan, what have you. So, let's face facts. Why are people not going? Why are people not watching? Well, isn't it obvious? If a show you watch isn't entertaining, you stop watching it. So, of course, everybody has their theory as to, what WWE can do to improve it. Anywhere from dropping down the commentary team, dropping Raw down to 2 hours, utilizing more of their talent, simply writing better storylines. And in all honesty, there's a lot of these make a lot of sense. And wouldn't be that hard for WWE to do. For example, it's clear Raw that WWE doesn't have enough content to fill a 3-hour show weekly. Dropping Raw down to possibly dropping Raw down to 2 hours a night on Monday. It seems like a very good idea. It'll actually save the company some money. And, it might help boost attendance because you're there for 2 hours instead of 3. Now, live events are about 3 hours, but they also have an intermission between. They also have an intermission like at about the hour and a half mark. Raw and Smackdown don't. They are a constantly moving show. You have your TV breaks and that's it. When do people get that big long chance to go to the bathroom or go to the concession stand or go to the merchandise stand where money's made? During commercials or during what the fans consider to be slow matches, which is, up until fairly recently has been Divas matches. So, dropping the show down to 2 hours and not 2 hours seems pretty good, like a pretty good idea. As far as some things like for SmackDown, where attendance is becoming very low. In fact, were reports pictures, videos of the fact that they tarped off the entire upper deck of the arena where SmackDown was filmed this week because nobody bought tickets for those areas. Maybe SmackDown means something. We as fans know that SmackDown is the B show behind Raw. But at least make it worth our while. And make it worth watching. I'm not saying drop it down to an hour. But, at least try to make it worth their while. Now the idea of better storylines. You would think that that would be a given. You know, this is WWE. This is the pinnacle of wrestling. You know, creating such great characters as Andre the Giant and The Undertaker and... Okay, Daniel Bryan was pretty much kind of already established, but, the yes thing. So, you have this great talent. That's the problem. The shows, it's not for lack of matches. I have said on Twitter numerous times, especially in the last couple of shows, that it's been badly booked, but the matches have been terrific. You have great talent that can put together great matches in the ring. But the problem is, WWE doesn't rely on that alone. WWE has to rely on storylines, has to rely on characters and character development, like any other TV show, like any drama, like any comedy. They rely on the entertainment. So, right there, be nice. You have an entire staff of writers. So where does it go from there? Where does it? We've all, and I don't, I made a couple of shows back. How Vince is personally taking, looking over creative's shoulder. He is personally overseeing the creative department. I want to, everybody says Vince is out of touch, and he could very well be. But Vince has also created some of the greatest characters we as wrestling fans have ever seen. But you have to remember, for every one Undertaker, there's 1,000 Man Mountain Rocks. It's not an exact science. I mean, yes, he is stuck on the same formula that made him a good majority of his money 30 years ago. He believes a big guy that can, superhero larger than life gimmicks. That has worked for him in the past. The problem is you've run into some instances where we are tired of one, and you tried to establish another at the wrong time. Timing is a huge issue in anything, in life, in comedy especially, and it's to a point where you need something different. I know Vince doesn't want to be a copycat, You are the biggest professional wrestling, I'm sorry, I used that phrase, entity in the world. You set the tone. You set the trend, you don't follow it. I know they've been accused of ripping off TNA in the past, but you're looking at what's out there. And the thing is also, you also have a great template right now within your umbrella for what makes a great wrestling show, and that's NXT. I mean, that's the thing. The storylines are simplified. It's simple. I want to kick your butt, and I want to kick your butt. All right, let's go to the ring, kick each other's butt. Simplifying it actually might make some good sense, and given the fact that the storylines you've created are too convoluted, they're either too convoluted, they're overthought or underthought, or are they even thought of at all? I mean, people people actually wanted to believe that Paige was being punished for something other than the fact that, no, she's not being punished for anything. Creative's an idiot. Creative's just being stupid. So, clearly a new direction needs to be taken. But where does it go? I mean, yes, and all the fans have great theories, and the fans also want to say, well, Vince should listen to us. As much as you would love to, as much as we all would love to believe that Vince could do that, Vince has to think of the big picture. We want our favorites to be successful. He has to think of a way for everyone. And yes, Vince is in charge of creative. Vince has final say. As much as we want to blame Dunn for it, Vince has a big role in it. So, who knows what they'll do here. I'm hoping that Vince will, that WWE might take a page from NXT and perhaps simplify storylines and just give us good matches. As much as you want to believe your entertainment, right now, you are not entertaining. And what I have advocated for the past year is finally coming to fruition. People are telling Vince how they feel about it, not on Twitter, not on Facebook, not in YouTube videos, but they're telling him how they feel about his product, with their remotes and with their money. Because they're not watching the show. They're not buying the merchandise, and they're not coming to the live events, which is how Vince makes his money. You've had enough of a downtrend over the years. This could be rock bottom for WWE. And I, like a lot of people, I am a pro wrestling fan. I want to see pro wrestling succeed. WWE is pro wrestling. So, here is a tremendous opportunity for Vince to, 30 years ago, 35 years ago, Vince McMahon revolutionized professional wrestling. He's not too old to do it again. Till next time, I'm the Guido. You have been warned.